Hello there everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to make this rainbow beaded Kumihimo necklace, and it looks like this. So we have all the rainbow colours and they're kind of blending into each other there with how I've added the beads onto the braid. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue and purple, and then you have your necklace here. So this is what it looks like. So this is based off a design that I previously did as a bracelet. So I have a rainbow beaded Kumihimo bracelet as well to match this perfectly, if you would like to have both. So if you haven't seen that before, I'm going to put a link to that in the description box below so you can have a look at that. And then if you want to make a set, you can obviously do that. But this necklace, the length of the actual braid has ended up being about 23 inches, which is about 58 centimeters. And obviously you can add whatever class you want to as well. But then that's the braid itself. So if you want to learn how to make this, then keep watching. So these are the materials that we're going to need. Now what I have here is a round Kumihimo disc because we are making a round braid, and then the cord that I'm using is a 0.4mm Eslon. Now I'm just working with a black colour because that's a nice neutral background colour for all the colours we're using for the beads here. And then as for the beads, these ones are all 8/0 seed beads, and these are just a brand of Miyuki. You can obviously use whatever you want to. Now what you want to make sure is obviously take the colours to match the rainbow. So I have a red, an orange, yellow, green, blue and then a purple to achieve that rainbow effect. And then finally we also need some findings here. So I've got my Kumihimo ends, going to fit perfectly to finish off the bracelet and then be able to attach the findings. So for that I have my jump rings, an extender chain and then my lobster claw clasp. You can obviously use whatever type of findings that you prefer. So let's get it all together and let's get started. So then the lengths of cord that we'll need to make this necklace here are these 4 lengths of our Eslon of about 2.5 meters each. And then what I've done is I've put all the ends together, folded them over in half, and then again put the ends together to find roughly where the middle is. And then I put a regular overhand knot there just to keep them all in place and also to help symbolize that that's the middle. And I'm going to use this and put it onto my disc. And I've then attached all the cords to my disc here, making sure I put that knot down through the center, and I've also just attached a scrap length of wire to help pull it down through. You can also attach a Kumihimo weight, that's completely up to you. But then how I distributed the cords is I'm not using the numbers here, I'm just using the dots on the disc for reference. So I put 2 cords around one dot, one on each side, 2 around the side dot, one on each side, and again also around the other dots there. So this is what it looks like. So then what I just want to do, before we start adding in any beads, I want to make a little section of braid here, just to begin with. And what I'm going to do is take my top left cord on the disc, going to bring that over the middle, down towards the bottom pair here, and I'm going to also stay on the left side of that pair. Then I'm going to take the right cord from the bottom pair, bring it over and up and stay on the right side of the top, like that. Then I'm going to turn my disc a quarter, and then I'm going to do the same thing. Take now the top left one here, release that, bring it down and stay on the left side. Take your bottom right one, bring it up and stay on the right side there, and then turn your disc again. And you basically want to keep doing this, building up a little braid here before we add in any beads of about 1 to 2 centimeters, because we're then going to use that at the end to help finish off the braid. So I now made my little section of braid here coming out at the back, as you can see. So now we're ready to then start adding in the beads. So this is then how you want to add all the beads onto your lengths of cord here. Now what I've also done is taken a picture of this setup. I put the picture on my website and I'm going to put a link to that in the description box below here. So I'm going to go through it, but I'm also going to put that picture, so if you need to, you can go there and have a bit of a closer look. So I'm going to start with the cord that I'm due to take next, and that's the top left one up here. And what we start out with is 25 red beads, then we have 22 orange beads, then we have 28 yellow beads, 22 green, then we have 27 blue, and then we finish off with 22 purple beads. Then the next cord is the top right one here, right next to it. And what we have is we start out with 27 red beads, then we have 22 orange, then we have 28 yellows, 22 green, we got 22 blue, and then we finish off with 24 purple beads. On the top one on the right side out here, the third one, we start out with 22 red beads, then we have 30 orange beads, we got 20 yellow beads, 30 green beads, then 22 blue beads, and then finish off with 22 purple beads as well. The bottom one on the right side here, we have 24 red, 25 orange, then we have 25 yellow, 25 green again, we got 27 blue, and then we have 19 of the purple. And then the bottom right cord down here, we start out with 28 red, then we have 22 orange, we got 28 yellow, 22 green, 27 blue, and then we have 22 purple. The left one on the bottom has 27 red, and then 22 orange, got 28 of the yellow, 22 of the green, 22 again of the blue, and then 24 of the purple at the end. And then the bottom cord on the left side of the disc here starts out with 22 red, then we have 30 orange beads, got 20 yellow, 30 green, 22 blue, and then finish off with 22 of the purple beads. And the final cord is the top one on the left side here. We start out with 24 red beads, then we have 25 orange, we got 25 of the yellow, again 25 of the green, then we have 27 of the blue, and finally we have 19 of the purple beads. So this is then how you need to set up all the beads if you work in the same way that I do. So like I showed you before when making the braid, you start with the top left one, or if you start with the bottom right one, that's the same. In that case you want to set up the beads like I've done here. Now if you work differently, so if you start with the top right one or the bottom left one, what you'll need to do is just set up your beads in a slightly different way. So basically imagine that you have a mirror in front of the disc here, and what you need to do is actually add the beads in that mirror image. So what that means is the top ones up here, the top cords, so it's not the cords themselves but the positioning of the beads of course, they need to swap place. So all the ones on the left cord need to go on the right one, and the right ones over on the left one. And then the bottom ones again, they need to swap over with each other, the positioning of the beads. The side ones here, the top two, so the top right one and then the top left one, they need to swap over the middle, again the positioning of the beads. Then the bottom right one and the bottom left one also need to swap over the middle like this. And then that's how you'll need to add the beads in that mirror image if you work, like I said, with the top right one or the bottom left one when you start out. That's the only different thing about it, to make sure you get the same pattern. But once you then have your beads on in the correct way, we'll need to start making the braid and then incorporating the beads into it. So we just continue the exact same braid that I showed you down here when just making that very first bit. The only difference is now every time we move a cord, we need to also add in one bead. So I'll grab my top left one because that's the one I'm due to take next. And as I'm releasing that, I'm going to drop down the very first bead on the cord. Let that drop all the way down, just one bead here, one bead at a time. And then you need to make sure that the bead goes underneath the cords there in the middle. So if it doesn't go in by itself, just tuck it in with your finger. Bring the cord down. Stay on the left side of the bottom pair. Then we need to take the bottom right cord. Release one bead. As I'm releasing the cord, let it drop all the way down. Tuck it in there in the middle. Make sure the bead goes underneath the cords in the middle as well. Bring it up. Now that's the first pair. Turn your disc for the next pair. Repeat the same thing. So as you're releasing your cord, always grab the very first bead that's available and let it drop all the way down into the middle. And bring it down. And just continue doing this. So it's basically the exact same thing as we were doing before without beads. The only difference is now every time we move one of the cords, we're just dropping down one of the beads from that cord along the way. And make sure you tuck in your beads there so they end up on the outside of the braid. If they end up on top in here, they're going to actually end up on the inside of the braid. So keep doing this until you run out of beads. Once you then added in all your beads here, you don't have any left on the cord, then we need to make a little section of braid again, just where we're using the cord, just like we did in the beginning here. So this little section. So all you do is just continue making the braid, just without adding in any beads. And what will happen is the cords will naturally cinch in here, right at the end of the braid. So just do this again for about 1 to 2 centimeters, so we have something to finish off the ends with. Now that I then have my little section of braid at the end again, we basically finished the whole braid. Now what I want to do is I just want to tie some knots here at the end so I can take it off the board securely without anything unraveling. So I'm going to take not the pair that I just used, but the other pair, the one that I was due to do next. I'm then going to take cords that are diagonally opposite each other, so these two here, bring them across the middle, and then tie a knot down right at the end of the braid there. Then I'm going to take the other two cords from the same pair that are diagonally opposite each other, get them across the middle and tie a knot. And then I'm going to go to the other pair, do the exact same thing, take cords that are diagonally opposite each other, and then just tie a knot over the middle here. And this is just to secure the ends of the cords in place of the braid here, so we can basically take the braid off the disc without worrying about the cords coming undone. So we can securely finish it off as well. So just like that, take the disc away, and then here we then have the braid. So this is what it looks like. Your long braid, because obviously it's a necklace. And then all that's left to do now is finish off the ends here. To do that, I'm just going to use these Kumihimo ends. They fit perfectly on the end there. And what I'm going to do first of all is this end where we have all the excess ends left. I'm just going to put some glue around where all the cord's coming out from these knots that we just made. Let it dry and then cut off the excess so we have a clean end. Here I'm going to take off my wire, and then we have both ends ready to then use the Kumihimo ends here. Now I already have a tutorial where I show how to use these. So you add some glue, and then nice strong glue, and then put them on the end, and then you can obviously attach whatever findings you want to the loops that you have on the ends of the Kumihimo ends there. So I already have a tutorial for that, like I said. So if you're not sure how to do that, I'm going to put a link to that in the description box below. So finish off your ends, add your findings, and then you'll have your finished necklace. So I now finished off the ends here, attached to Kumihimo ends and my findings. I'm just using a lobster claw clasp and extended chain. It's a nice neat finish. And then this is your braid. So it looks like this. So going from the rainbow colours, red graduating over to orange, and it does have a nice blending effect there, to yellow, green, blue, and then purple. So you get this really nice effect of the rainbow on the necklace. And this necklace has ended up being about 23 inches long. So the actual braid itself is about 23 inches. And obviously you can add whatever clasp, and I've got the extended chain there as well. So I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial and found it useful, and thank you very much for watching. Hello there everyone. Today I want to show you how to make this cherry blossom beaded Kumihimo bracelet. And it looks like this. So you get your cherry blossoms going all the way around with your little leaves on them. Different leaves on each one. And then the flowers on the outside of the bracelet here. So it'll look like this when you're wearing it. So if you want to learn how to make this, then keep watching. So here are the things that we'll need. Now because we're making a round braid, we'll need a round Kumihimo disc for this.